Good morning, Sheila.
Hey, good morning.
How's the coffee?
Coffee's excellent.
Thank you again for joining us for coffee this morning. And thank you for helping us with all our frustrations through the short sale process. We have another frustration we'd like to get your input on this morning.
What is that?
You have a short sale, cooking along, and you're losing your buyer. And you immediately want to put it back in the market, get it in MLS, so you can get another offer to keep the process rolling. And there's been some activity, you schedule showing, show up at the property, let's say Saturday morning, and the property's been rekeyed, you have no access to the property. Does the lender even have a right to do that?
The lender does have a right. I get this phone call a lot from my agents, and they are just livid. Now, the one thing that they've got to keep in mind is if that property is vacant, you have a high risk that that lender's going to rekey the property at some point, especially in these winter months where they have a risk of pipes freezing. So the lender, even though they don't own the property, they do have a right to protect their interest in that property.
Assuming they abandoned the
Correct.
property. Is what they're thinking.
Exactly. So if the property's vacant, in their eyes, it is abandoned. And as soon as it's abandoned, they have the right to go in, rekey, secure, and winterize that property, so no further damage occurs to it. They don't have the right to do this if that property is being occupied, okay? So if the homeowner, if you meet with the homeowner as an agent, you're getting ready to list this property and they have to move out of state for work, or they're concerned about getting kicked out, so they want to move out right away. Right. You know, if they're moving because they have to, that's one thing. But if they're moving out because they're afraid they're going to get kicked out, you need to calm their fears. Let them know that there are laws in place protecting them, and that the lender cannot you know, demand that they move out of that property before they, the lender, foreclose on that property. They must be the legal owner in order to evict anybody that's in that property. I did have one. You do?
Now you said that they don't have the right if they're living there. Does
No.
that happen?
Oh yeah, yeah. A couple of years ago, I was working late. It was like 6:30. Got a phone call from my agent, and the homeowner had went to the grocery store to pick up some things. Was gone 20 minutes. Comes back, the property's been rekeyed and the water's been shut off that quickly. So if the lender receives bad information from the agent that's doing the occupancy check, they will order to have that property rekeyed, winterized, and secured. When that happens, you know, 6:30, 7 o'clock at night, that's not a good time. It's going to be hard to contact somebody in the property preservation department. So you may have to wait till, you know, the following morning. Now, if you're the homeowner, you've got another key, you may want to try the back door. See if they just rekeyed the front door. But then again, your water's turned off. So now you got to get the water turned back on. It becomes, you know, a calamity of errors that can happen. And again, these are huge financial institutions. And the ball gets dropped many a times. So the most important thing is for that agent to be proactive, stay in touch with that lender, especially if that property is vacant and you're doing a short sale, because I would say you have a huge, you know, high possibility that during that short sale process, that property will get rekeyed at some point to protect their asset.
So to kind of recap, we let the sellers know that no one's going to evict you from the property until it goes through the local.
Yeah, give them
so
information.
Don't move out,
right.
Unless you have to.
The more information that you can give them, they're going to make a better decision. And don't move out till that short sale is done if you can avoid it.
And it's, let's say it's happened. Tell us again what the procedure is to try to get a key. Property
being vacant, the most important thing to do is agent, get that authorization form signed, you know, by your sellers, get it over to the lender. Once it gets on file, now you can start the communication with that lender. Contact, typically it's the property preservation department, but you can call customer service, you can call the loss mitigation department, let them know this, you know, situation and what you're trying to avoid, and who you need to speak to. So they can make notes, they can document the file, they can have your contact information, so they can also stay in contact with you and find out how the listing is going, what's the activity, number of showings. So it's all about communication, and sometimes the short sale lenders are the worst about communicating.
Right.
So we've got to be the best communicators possible. And sometimes we've got to keep that lender on track.
All right. Thank you, Sheila. I know you're pressed for time. Hey, next week we'd like to maybe talk a little bit about the different lenders and their procedures in Equator.
Oh, that'd be perfect.
All right.
That'd be good.
We know you're busy. Thank you for your time.
Hey, you're welcome. You guys have a great week.